Already. We're gonna go ahead and get rolling. We got the video. Perfect. Guys, I'm so excited. Hopefully you can hear the tonality, the excitement in my voice of what a couple decisions, right, that can absolutely change your life. A decision, and that's the all star. It's a desire and decision to want more, be more. And you did the biggest step is being on this call, right? Investing into yourself, right? Investing into your future. And I had the privilege of meeting this individual, right, about 6 months ago at one of Bob Proctor's seminar, and we're actually at a private dinner at one of his Bob's, like I said, at one of his seminars, and we're at the private dinner, and I heard this gentleman from across the table. And one thing about myself is, when I hear someone that is going somewhere, that has the clarity and really the vision of where they're going, my vibration attracted to his vibration, his frequency, and I started listening to what he had to say, and I was like, man, this guy has so much value, so much knowledge, and we actually got to know each other over the past 6 months of really getting to know each other, but also masterminding on on how to get to that next level. And the beauty of this is he has a passion for helping people. He has a passion for providing value for the masses, right? He has the passion to go out and do this, for you, right? So we're investing into yourself. We're investing into you, right? Brian is an individual, right? Brian is an individual that it's not about the money. And we only, share the money to grab your attention, but he's helping thousands upon thousands and on his way to millions of people around the world, right? He's helping millions of people around the world. He has the time freedom, financial freedom that we all desire, right? Not only that, but he's created companies from startups to businesses, created 8 figures. And not only that, but one thing about success, it's about getting the success and then duplicating the success. So I'm super excited I got my pen and paper right here. Got my pen, right? So I'm going to be taking notes, guys. This is going on for the next 3 days. The next 2 days. This is day 1 of day 3, guys. I hope you're excited. Drop some ones if you are excited. And the chat box is going crazy. Brian, I'm so excited. I'm so pumped up to be here with you, my man. Thank you for being on this call. For you guys that don't know, one more time, Brian is an 8-figure earner, multiple 8-figure earner, right? He's owned companies, owned startups, has built massive amount of residual income, and is here to share the gems. We got 2,000 people on the call. Let's go, right? He's here to share the gems with you on helping you from where you are now to where you're going. So without further ado, I'm going to step out of the way of greatness. Brian, thank you for being on this call, my man. And thank you for helping, my network and everyone on this call. Can you hear me?
Hey, brother, I can hear you well. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, so it's a little low on the volume.
Let's see. Let me try this. How does that work?
Much better. There we go. Perfect.
Nice. Well, thank you for having me on. As always, brother, I really appreciate it. I'm just more than happy to be here and serve in any way that I can. As you mentioned, I've committed my life to really helping people connect the dots. So thank you for putting together this platform. We can just reach out to people. And, we've been doing a couple of these now. We already have a few hundred of your team that are working with us in the Mindset Masters. Just, boy, you want to talk about high energy, serious people looking to get ahead. Unbelievable. So I really appreciate you having me on here. Guys, we're going to get right back into it. This is going to be a little bit like drinking from a fire hose. But if you registered for the event, you'll get the recordings, all this. So I'd rather pack in the value. We got about 50 minutes here. We'll pack in the value. And you can always look at the recording and go back to it. So we're going to get right into it, guys. And again, as Luke said, my name is Brian Dalmaso. I'm very privileged to be a good friend and mentee of Bob Proctor. We're his top wealth mindset coach in the world, me and my daughter Madison here. And tonight we're going to get into the science behind goal setting, the science of paradigms, and how the world's top 1% think, and mastering the art of sales. So tonight, guys, we're going to be going over just the goal setting section. We're going to take a deep dive. All right, guys, we're going to take a deep dive into goal setting. And there's really a science of goal setting and goal achieving. So before we get into that, I just want to give you a little bit about the history, right? If you're new to this, if you don't know me, if you're not sure who Bob Proctor is, I want to give you guys a little bit of the history where this information comes from. All right, guys. So this I shouldn't say it originated, but as far as we know in recorded history is back as far as the Industrial Revolution, Andrew Carnegie in the late 1800s was the first recorded billionaire. I want you to think about this. First recorded billionaire in the world. And he had a mindset. And one of the things that he was saying to himself and some of his peers around the world is, it's a shame that people like us get all this knowledge, we accumulate all this wealth, and we end up going to our graves with all this information. All right, so Andrew Carnegie decided to mentor a young Napoleon Hill. Many of you know Napoleon Hill. He wrote the book, Think and Grow Rich, and that's exactly what he did. He dedicated his life to this information. He dedicated his life to helping people, and he really just outlived, right? He wrote books like Think and Grow Rich, and really his stuff will go on and on and on. So none of what I'm going to tell you here tonight is my opinion. It's really the science of wealth achievement and how the world's wealthiest people think and act and operate. And Napoleon Hill mentored Earl Nightingale in the 60s, 50s, 60s, and 70s. He mentored Earl Nightingale, and this really carried the science of achievement bringing forward, right? Now, Earl Nightingale mentored my mentor, Bob Proctor. So many of you guys know Bob Proctor. I know from the iMarkets Live company here that you guys know Bob Proctor, and he's mentoring a lot of people around the world. He mentored Luke, he mentors me, mentors Alex. And I've been very, very blessed and privileged to call Bob a friend and a mentor. So what we're giving to you here again tonight is not my opinion. It's the science of wealth achievement and how the world's wealthiest people think and act and operate. And again, my name is Brian Dalmasso, and I'm just very, very privileged to be here tonight. My background was in mechanical engineering, architecture, construction, a lot of traditional businesses, and then on into entrepreneurship when I met Bob and started studying this information. All right, guys, so what we're going to go over here tonight is not my opinion. This is by law, right? This is universal laws of creation. And what it's going to do for you is help you to earn and think and act and operate just like the world's wealthiest people. All right, guys. So again, I'm the CEO and managing partner of the Matrix Incorporated. I've used this information to be the CEO of multiple companies, as you can see here. And I'm not saying any of this to impress you. It's more to impress upon you that if I can do it, you can do it. I went the good part of 40 years just being traditionally educated, right? I didn't have any of this information. A lot of you are half my age and you're getting this information. So very, very privileged to bring this to you. So like Luke said, you want to make sure to take notes, right? We're going to get you the replays, but just open up your mind, open up your thinking, and we're going to help you get you guys some of the information that's going to help you. So before we get into goal setting, what I want to do is talk about the universal laws of creation, right? Things in this universe, everything happens by law. It doesn't happen by luck. There's no such thing as luck or chance or things like that. It happens by law. So one of the first universal laws we talk about is the law of vibration. All right. The second universal law is the transmutation of energy. This is what happens when you turn a light switch and it turns into light, right? It's also the way an acorn turns into an oak tree. There's universal laws of creation. And we're going to go over a couple of these tonight before we get into goal setting, because really most of what people are operating with is the physical world, but everything that we're talking about happens in the energy state, right? Thoughts become things. So we're going to talk about the law of polarity, which is the law of opposites. We have the law of rhythms, right? Where this is, winter, spring, summer, fall. We have the tide goes out and the tide comes in. So these are all universal laws. These are not man-made laws, so man cannot change them. We have the law of gender. We have the law of relativity we're going to talk about tonight. We have the law of gestation. So again, guys, we're just going to tip off a couple of these things, all right? And I want to just really highlight to you guys to get you thinking. Just want to get you thinking about some of these universal laws, right? There's a universal law of gravity that most people cannot explain. And what I want to show you here is the most erudite physicist in the world cannot explain gravity, right? Nobody here can explain gravity. I can't explain gravity, and I'm an engineer. So the most erudite physicist in the world cannot explain gravity, but yet we're conditioned to work with it. All right, guys, we're conditioned to work with it. And I want you to really think about this, because there's a lot of universal laws that are affecting us that we cannot control. All right, guys? So universal law of gravity. Now, we're in harmony with the law of gravity, right? We fly around the world in jets. Everybody here has probably worked on a jet, flown on a jet. And this is another universal law that we're getting in harmony with, all right? The universal law of gravity. So I really want you to think about this. There's a lot of invisible laws, and you don't know about these laws. I don't know about these laws and things of that nature, but it doesn't mean they're not affecting us. All right, guys, it doesn't mean they're not affecting us. So what I want you guys to understand that we're going to talk about a lot of universal laws here, and a lot of them you're going to know about. Like, you don't have to understand these to get in harmony with them. That's the biggest point I want to make here. All right, guys. So we have the universal law of vibration. Now, a lot of you you've heard about the law of attraction, right? But what I want to say, I want to prove to you that the law of attraction is not just something you believe in or don't believe in. It actually should be called the law of magnetism, right? So the reason why we're doing this is to show you when you go to set a goal, you have to understand a little bit about what you're doing with your mind to achieve that goal. All right, guys? So just think about the easiest example that I have here is an acorn, right? If you look at an acorn under a microscope, you'll see that the acorn is at a certain rate of vibration, right? Now, this is not my opinion. This is high school science, right? Everything is in the law of vibration, and everything's in motion. Now, when you take an acorn and you put it in the soil, right, what happens to that acorn is that the energy and the vibration of that acorn increases. I want you to really think about this. Like, how does an acorn turn into an oak tree, right? Really, really think about this, guys. And what happens is when you put the acorn in the soil, it gets in the right environment, right? Think about that. So a human being, if it's in the right environment, the vibration will increase too. That's exactly what happened to Warren Buffett. All right, guys? I want you to really think about that. Now, when the acorn gets into the soil, if you looked at it under a microscope, you would see the vibration of the acorn increase, right? Because it's in the right environment, the vibration increases. Then through the law of attraction and magnetism, you would see everything that acorn needed to become the higher, fuller version of itself. You would see that start to move towards the acorn. See, that's the law of attraction. When you raise your vibration, you attract what you need to become the higher, fuller version of yourself. You see, human beings, we are subject to the same laws as the acorn, right? Think about that. Think about that. We are subject to the same laws as the acorn. All right, guys? So when you think about that, well, how do you raise your vibration? How do you get into a better environment? Right? And that's what we're going to show you guys here. So what happens to the acorn? It gets into the right soil. The vibration increases. It attracts what it needs to become the higher, fuller version of itself, and it turns into an oak tree. All right, guys? So that's the universal law of vibration. But you got to understand, when we talk about attraction, it responds to vibration. All right? It responds to vibration. And that's what we're going to talk about over the next 3 days. We're going to give you guys enough information so that you can start to get in harmony with these universal laws, and you can start to understand how to create on a much, much higher level. All right, guys, so buckle up, take notes like Luke was saying here. We're going to get into a couple more of these laws, and this is the universal law of vibration, which is very, very critical when you're talking about the law of attraction and also goal setting. All right, guys, the next law I want to talk about here, and this is going to make a lot of sense because a lot of you have probably done this, right, is the perpetual transmutation of energy. I want you to think about this, the perpetual transmutation of energy. And what this is a, I don't want to say this, this is a law that helps you get in harmony with the laws of creation. All right, guys, I want you to think about this. Everything is in a transmutation of energy, just like the acorn, right? Just like the acorn. And what happens is when the vibration increases, you start to transmute energy, all right? And when we do this, this is the same way that you can get to 100,000 a month. So I really want you to pay attention. I know a lot of you guys want to be chairman 100, chairman 500. You don't want to be chairman 10, by the way. That's just something you're saying based on a limited belief. Really, you want to get to chairman 100, chairman 500, right? So we're going to show you guys how to do that. So everything is in a constant transmutation of energy from the nothing to the something. And I want to give you this example here that shows you guys exactly what I'm talking about. So back in the day, I was an architect and a builder, and a couple would come to me and they would have an idea to build a house. Really think about this. Well, that is a thought in their mind. And they would take that thought energy and they would use language to speak to me and communicate through pictures and words what they wanted to build. And I would design it on a computer. Next thing you know, we would have a design for a house. right? And the people didn't know, and I didn't know either because I was largely ignorant at the time, the fact that they are transmuting energy from their thought to the thing. And watch what happens, right? We design the house, we give it a blueprint, we hand the blueprint to the excavator, and the next thing you know, right, the excavator is digging a hole called a foundation hole. In the transmutation of energy from the no thing to the something, we start building the house. Really think about this, guys. Now, we don't think about building a house as a transmutation of energy, but you go from a thought, right? And the next thing, they're digging a hole, and then the foundation guys show up. They start pouring the foundation. The framers show up. Now, all of these workers, they are thinking they're just doing a job. I'm just going to work every day. What they're doing is they're being moved through the transmutation of energy way back when the homeowner decided to build a house. That's why decision is so important. You have to decide to get to 100,000 a month long before you can ever get there. All right, guys, long before you can ever get there. You have to make a decision. You can't worry about the how. And this right here is about an $8 million house that we built in Weston. One of the things I do is we build homes. You can see here. Now, this is a transmutation of energy. So is an acorn to an oak tree. So is a human baby into Warren Buffett. So as where you are right now to Chairman 100. It's a transmutation of energy. Does that make sense, guys? Type a 1 in the chat if that's making sense. I want to try and break this down so you guys can understand. You guys can do anything you decide to. Most people just don't make decisions. All right, guys? So now here's the deal. You would not think of going to the top of a building and ignoring the law of gravity, would you? Right? You're not going to go to the top of a building and challenge, hey, let me see if gravity works today, right? We're not going to ignore those laws. So why would we ignore the laws of creation when we're trying to get to Chairman 100, Chairman 500, right? You can see very well by yourselves that Alex, who is a student of this, Luke, who is a student of this, they're moving in those directions. Well, why is that? Right? They raise their level of awareness, right? They raise their level of awareness. So guys, we do not want to remain ignorant. And that's what we're doing here tonight. So I want to congratulate each and every one of you because there's about 2,300 people that made a decision to not Netflix and chill tonight. You made a decision to take in some of this information, right? And I'm not asking you to believe everything I tell you. I'm asking you to think, to ponder the ideas. Does this make sense? Does it make sense what I showed you about how an acorn turns into an oak tree, how a baby turns into Warren Buffett? And we're going to dig deep into the science of wealth building, guys. All right, we're going to show you how the 1% thinks. And I want you to pay real attention to this next part here because just by jumping on this webinar, you have moved into the 1%. I want you to really think about that. Look to the person to the left of you. And if you're by yourself, look in the mirror and congratulate yourself because most people do not have the presence of mind. They'd rather watch a movie right now. Well, guess what? 97% of the people are broke, right? 96% of the world's wealth is earned by 1% of the population. We're going to show you how the 1% thinks, guys, right? But first of all, let's show you how you are programmed, right? When you're born, this is how you're programmed. And again, this is not your fault. We're programmed to look at our results, right? We look at our results and we let those results cause our thinking. We look at our bank account, we look at our body, we look at our relationships. We look at the physical manifestation of what's around us and we let those results cause our thinking for the day, right? Now, thinking causes feelings. Feelings are vibration. When I say feelings, what we're saying is the conscious awareness of the vibration that you're in. All right, guys? So if you tell me you're feeling sad, what you're saying is I am in a low vibration. I am consciously aware that I am in a low vibration. If I told you I feel excited, right, or happy, what you're saying is I'm consciously aware that I'm in a high vibration. Now, you could hear by the energy in Luke's voice that that man is in a constant high vibration. Well, you don't have to wonder why his bank account is so fat because he is in high vibration and he's attracting people, places, things, and circumstances that are in harmony with where he's going, right? Now, his goal is $5 million a month. So he's not in harmony with that yet. What we're doing here is showing him how to raise his level of awareness to move towards $5 million a month. And $5 million a month isn't big or small. It just is. All right, guys? So those feelings are what set up vibrations in your body and it causes actions. Anytime we say action, that is your body in movement. So guys, this is what Bob calls a self-fulfilling doom cycle, right? Self-fulfilling doom cycle. You look at your results, it causes your thinking, causes your vibrations. Your vibrations cause the body to move or more likely not to move, and you get the same old results. All right, guys, so we don't want to operate there. The 1%, this is how we think, right? We start with new thinking. Our short-term goal is 10 million a month, Madison and myself, through multiple revenue streams, and that's in profit. New thinking, new thinking, new thinking, right? This new thinking sets up new vibrations, right? Thoughts become things. That's not just a cute phrase, it's physics. So the new thinking causes new vibrations. The new feelings cause the body to move in a different way. And guys, this is not rocket science. New actions by law, not by opinion, by law have to cause new results. Everything is the law of cause and effect, right? Energy out is energy back. There's a cause and effect to everything. Things don't happen by chance. They happen by cause and effect. So what is the cause that you are putting out every single day? And just think about that, guys. All right. Now, what we're going to do on day 2 of this is we're going to cause a paradigm shift. We're going to show you guys how to cause a paradigm shift. But one thing we need to do, if we're going to change the mind, what does the mind look like? What does the mind look like? So guys, type in the chat, what do you think the mind looks like? Just whatever you think it is. There's no right or wrong answers. Type in the chat, what do you guys think the mind looks like? Right? A lot of people say it looks like scrambled eggs, conscious, subconscious. That's a good answer, right? There's a lot of things that people think. A lot of people say it looks like spaghetti. A lot of people says that it looks like the organ of the brain here we show in the picture. So I want you guys to think about that. Your mind is not your brain. All right, guys, your mind is not your brain. Your mind is movement. It's energy. All right. So I want you to think about this. How do you change something if you don't know what it looks like? How do you change something if you don't know what it looks like? I want you to think about that. So what we have here, we have a picture developed by Dr. Thurman Fleet, right, back in the 1930s. And this picture is designed to show you what the mind looks like. All right, guys, I want you to think about that. Now, this is not actually what the mind looks like. This is a graphical representation so you can understand how we're going to shift your paradigm, and more importantly, how goals are created and how they're achieved. All right, guys? So I want you to think about this. We have a conscious, we have a subconscious, and we have a body. All right? Now, everybody, this is you, this is me, this is your parents, this is your colleagues. This is everybody in your world. And just give me a second to take a drink here. All right, this is people you're prospecting. This is salespeople. This is everybody in your world. And I want you to really, really understand this part. You have a conscious, you have a subconscious, you have a body, right? Now, the subconscious mind drives the body into action. All right, guys? You don't consciously walk. You don't consciously speak. I'm not consciously speaking right now. I'm accessing a program called speaking. All right? So when you get an idea that I want to get to 100,000 a month, you got to get that into the subconscious mind, because the subconscious mind is what drives the body into action. And I want to show you how most people are programmed, guys. When we're born into ignorance. I want you to really think about this. We're born into ignorance. And we really can't help that. It's not our fault. It's not our parents' fault. It's nobody's fault. We're just born into ignorance. It's generational ignorance. And because we're ignorant, we tend to have worry and doubt and negative thinking right from birth. Right from birth, guys. So I want you to really, really think about that. And before we go forward, just let it sink in here, all right? Right? Worry and doubt in the conscious mind cause negative thinking. Now that worry and doubt in the conscious mind has to, by law, suppress into your subconscious mind as the emotion of fear. Now, fear is an illusion. It's an irrational thought. It's an illusion. Fear does not exist unless you put energy to it. We do not have to fear anything in this world. I want you to really think about that. All right, guys? Fear is an illusion. We brought that forward from the Stone Age when you used to have to fear being eaten by a saber-toothed tiger or something. So fear has to express to and through the body. And when it does, it forms the physical reality of anxiety, right? The expression of anxiety, knots in your stomach. You feel like vomiting. You feel like getting sick. Some people say they feel like they're having a heart attack. So if anybody here has anxiety, this is where it comes from. Type a 1 in the chat if you've ever had anxiety, guys, because this is exactly where it comes from. And you cannot get to anxiety, right, unless you have fear, doubt, and worry. Really think about this. I can show you how to cure anxiety right here on this webinar. All right, guys? So there's no reason for that. But this is what happens. If any of you are not moving, if you're procrastinating, this is exactly why. It's not your fault. We're going to give you the answers here. But procrastination, because we don't like the way anxiety feels, it's easier to just go over to the couch, sit down, watch TV, and watch other people get rich doing what they love instead of doing what we need to do to get rich for ourselves. This is why most people procrastinate, and this is what happens with procrastination. Procrastination leads to depression. because it's depressing not to create. We're born creators, guys. I just want you to get this. If I could put this into a syringe and inject it in your ass, I would. But think about this, right? This is why most people are depressed, is because they're not living their dreams. And that's not just a cute phrase. They have limiting beliefs given to them by other people that are holding them back, and it doesn't feel good, and they don't know why. Guys, this is why, right? I could explain this to a 5-year-old. This little chart is very, very easy to understand, right? And when you're depressed for a long enough time, it leads to a body not at ease. It's what we call dis-ease. All right, guys? So here's what we're doing here together this week. And I pray to you guys, and I pray to the gods that you show up for all 3 days, because we're going to give you so much value that you can go out and just kick some butt, right? We're going to give you knowledge. And this is what happens when you're on the knowledge side. You get study and understanding. You get positive thinking. And that's not just a cute thing. You can easily think positive or negative. It's all choice. And you can also either be in a fear-based mindset or a faith-based mindset. Think about that. Fear or faith. They're choices. They're choices. They're opposite sides of the same thing. Now, here's the thing. You cannot be in a fear-based mindset and a faith-based mindset at the same time. It's the law of opposites. They're opposite sides of the same thing, right? If you're looking at my screen, they're not two things. Fear and faith are opposite sides of the same thing. And at any one given time, you can only be in fear or faith. So you absolutely have to program yourself to get into the faith-based mindset. You can't worry about blowing a trade. You're going to $100,000 a month, right? You can't be worried about losing $200 in a trade. It's opposite sides. It's a double binding message in your mind, right? So here's what happens. Well-being and calmness happen from faith. Faith is knowing. It leads to acceleration, which is the body and movement. It leads to action. And action, guys, action leads to a body that's at ease. It's the opposite of dis-ease, right? So take a look at this chart. Take a screenshot, right? You can only be on the left side or the right side of this, and it's choice. It's choice. You don't have to fear public speaking. You don't have to fear trading, right? You can just go on faith. You guys have really good mentors. You're learning in your mind. And if you're going to assume something, assume you're going to succeed, and you will. All right, guys, type a 1 in the chat if this is resonating. I always love to show this stickman figure because it really, really highlights what's going on from the conscious to the subconscious. Lots of ones. Love it, love it, love it, guys. Glad you're getting some value here. Let's take this a little deeper. Now we're going to get into the goal setting. See, I wanted to explain to you how this works because everything's a transmutation of energy. Realize when you were born, you were programmed by other people. Not your fault, not their fault. There's no blame here. But now you guys are at a point, you're like, you know what? There's a better way. I'm not going to do the 40-hour grind, right? I'm going to do the 4-hour work week. I'm going to work an hour a day. I'm going to get myself, I'm going to study, and I'm going to get to Chairman 100, Chairman 500, right? So we got a new idea, right? We got a new idea. That's the goal. You're like, you know what? I'm not going to stay where I was. I'm not going to stay at 100 grand a year, 50 grand a year. I got a new idea in my mind called a goal. But guys, it's only in your conscious mind, right? The conscious mind doesn't move the body. You have to get the goal suppressed in your subconscious. Take a look at this picture. This becomes very easy to see. You got to be on the positive side of the equation, right? You have to have faith and understanding. You have to have positive thoughts, right? You got to know you're going there. You can't have worry and doubt. Excuse me, guys. And you got to suppress that goal over and over and over again until the subconscious mind grabs a hold of it, right? Now, guys, I want you to think about this. The subconscious mind is 1,000,000 times more powerful. I want you to think about this. The subconscious mind is 1,000,000 times more powerful than the conscious mind. All right, guys? And there's a reason for this. All right? There's an absolute reason for this. It's because we store programs in the subconscious mind. You have a program called walking. You have a program called speaking, right? You have one called eating. Some people have a program called smoking, right? Really, really think about this. So it's important to understand that the way we're designed is for a reason. If you didn't have your subconscious mind, you would have to learn to walk. You would have to learn to eat. You would have to learn to speak every single day before you got up out of bed. Really think about that. Every morning you have to learn to walk, speak, and eat before you could even go to work. So there's a reason why the subconscious mind is 1,000,000 times more powerful than the conscious mind. All right, guys? So this is not a design flaw. It's part of the way that we're designed to work. All right. So once we understand this, it's like, okay, now we know that there's programs in the subconscious. Let me be in charge for the first time in programming myself. And that's what we're doing here, guys. Tomorrow, we're going to show you how to unwire the bad programs and wire in the new ones. All right, guys, that sound good? So tonight we're going to work on goal setting, but this is why we have goal cards. This is why the spaced repetition of content, right? When Luke was talking earlier on our chat, we talked about why do we have to keep listening to this stuff over and over again? Why do I got to read Think and Grow Rich 100 times? All right, really think about this. The reason is because we have programs. Now, I'm 49 years old, so I got 49 years of programming, right? You guys are whatever age you are, but it's going to take a little time to reprogram. Now, that's not good or bad. It just is. You want to surrender to that process. But once you keep repeating this, once you start using affirmations, once you get into a habit of every morning fantasizing about your goal, right? Suppressing it into the subconscious mind, you'll see through the law of vibration and attraction that it sets up a vibration in your body, right? This is why, like, I'm wired. You can hear it in my voice, guys. I'm always in a high vibration. I'm never in a low vibration. I am in a constant state of gratitude. And that doesn't make me better or worse than you. It just makes me more aware, and my results are generally better, right? So think about that. This is how it works. You got to take the new idea. You got to get emotionally involved every single morning, noon and night. You guys see people like Alex all over the world. They don't play around with this stuff. They get up early. They read. They study. This is what we do. We get emotionally involved. We visualize 1 million a month, 10 million a month, 10 million a week, right? And then by the law of attraction, right, by the universal law of attraction, not by opinion, it's by physics, we produce the results. And this little chart here is worth $1 million, if not more. So if you can screenshot this for yourselves, go ahead and do this. And guys, if you registered for this webinar, for this series, you're going to get the replay in your emails. We'll also send these charts out to you guys. So if you haven't registered, if you're on here from a link and you'd like to, we're going to send out a lot of things to the people that registered, and we'll get that link out back to you guys. All right. So let's keep moving here, guys. All right. Play along with me. Type in the chat. What do you guys think this looks like? When I saw this picture, I'm like, oh my God, this says 1 million words. What is it that you guys think this picture looks like? Right? Chaos, stress, overwhelmed, confused, AAA, overthinking, scattered stress, procrastination. There you go. Right, guys? This is a perfect example of what you look like when you have fear, when you have doubt, when you have worry. You cannot create in a chaotic state, right? You cannot create success, I should say. You are creating. What you're creating is depression and confusion. Now, guys, here's what you have to own. This is all by choice. You don't have to let those thoughts linger in your head. Oh my God, I just had a bad trade. I lost $1,000. So what? $1,000 is nothing. Somebody that makes 100,000 a month would not care about losing 1,000. Now, I'm not trying to belittle that. I'm trying to condition your minds, right? People spend $200,000 in 6 years of school to be an engineer just to learn to make 50,000 a year. You spend a little bit of money learning how to trade, you might spend 50 grand in the wrong direction, but you're learning. It's not good or bad. It just is, guys. All right. You're going to a universal school of wealth building. So either way, we always have to pay the price. There's no shortcuts in life, guys. You got to pay the price. And that's really what it is. So why is it such a big deal if you lose 1,000 on a trade? If you understand it, it's not a big deal. What was the lesson? What did you learn? Don't do it again. All right, guys. So guys, play along with me again. What is it that you think this picture represents? Look at these people here and type in the chat. What do you guys think this represents? What does this look like to you guys? Success, wealth, money, success, leaders, wealth, billionaires, success, power. Yep. Didn't see it yet. Let me see if one of you guys gets it. Goals, success. Boy, there's a lot of ideas in here. Guys, this is what faith looks like. Really let this one sink in. You have to, number one, make a decision, 100,000 a month. Number two, you can't worry about the how. You have to have faith. These people don't wonder if they're going to be successful. They know they're going to be successful. That's why they're called visionaries. They knew it 30, 40 years ago. It just, everybody else didn't know it. Everybody else called them crazy. They called Steve Jobs crazy for his entire life. He revolutionized the music industry, the computing industry, the Pixar, the graphics industry and the movies, right? There was like half a dozen industries he revolutionized in his life. He was a visionary, right? Think about that, guys. This is what faith looks like. And you have to be in a faith-based mindset. There's no other way around it. You cannot create if you're in a fear-based mindset. So over the next 3 days, we're going to work together hand in hand here. And I'm going to give you the tools that you need so you no longer have to have fear, doubt, worry, anxiety. You can drop all that luggage and just move forward with the today, the here, the now, and the future. All right, guys, we're going to teach you a little bit about the science of goal setting. And guys, there's 3 types of goals. We're going to go over these. I want you to understand there's 3 types of goals, and 96% of the earth does not know about this, right? They say that only 3% of the people on the planet have a goal. Think about that. Now, the one thing I do know is that you guys are all in the 1%. I know everybody here, you have goals. There's no question about that. You wouldn't be here if you didn't. But there's only less than 1% that has their goals written down. So if you don't have your goals written down, you need to do that tonight. And I'm not talking about writing a book. I'm talking about a clear goal. I am so happy and grateful now that by January 1, 2021, I am earning in excess of $10 million through multiple revenue sources in a calm, easy, peaceful manner. One little paragraph on a goal card in your pocket, reading it every morning, reading it every night, right? We need to do that. You need to have a written goal that will put you automatically into the 1%. And then the only variable becomes time. All right, guys, so we're going to talk about A-type goals here because this is what most people are doing. Let me know if this sounds familiar, right? This is doing something you already know how to do, right? Chairman 10 is an A-type goal, and I'm not trying to say that in a bad way. I'm just saying you already know what to do to get there. You already know what to do, right? Take massive action. Reach out to people. Study day trading. Study Forex trading. Study from your leaders, right? Studying in your mind. You actually already know what to do. You just repeat, 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 repeat. Eventually, a little bit of time, you're going to get to Chairman 10. Now, Chairman 100 is a different animal. You probably don't know how to get there, and that's okay. I'm going to give you a revolution in a few slides here, and you're going to see exactly what that means. All right, so an A-type goal is doing something you already know how to do. Going to the gym is not a goal. Going to the gym is not a goal, guys. Now, it's probably necessary. You probably need to do it, but it's not a goal because you know how to do it. You get up, you go to the garage, you get in this thing called a car, you point it towards the gym, and you drive to the gym. That's not a goal, right? That's just a task. It's something you need to do, but it's not a goal. Working your business, that's not a goal, right? I'm going to send out 50 invites today. That's not a goal. That's a task. You already know how to do it. You see, how do we set goals if we don't even know what a goal is? This is the universal problem here, guys, and this is what we're helping you with. Getting up early, that's not a goal. That's a task. Now, I'm not belittling these things. These are habits of highly successful people, but they would not constitute a goal. All right, guys? Eating healthy. Eating healthy is not a goal. I just had an apple. It wasn't a donut. That wasn't a goal. It was just a choice. You guys see here? So we got to stop confusing things. We got to stop buying our own excuses, and we got to start making decisions. So these are what we call A-type goals. This is doing something you already know how to do, and this is what most of the planet is setting for goals. All right, guys? Now, B-type goals. B-type goals, you're going to recognize some of these ones. This is doing something that's conditional on something else. Think about this one. How many of you have said this one? And it's okay if you have, guys. I was rowing the same boat of ignorance for 40 years, so I promise you there's no judgment here. I'm not better than anybody here. Thankfully, I just happened to run into some mentorship, make some decisions, and I'm just a lot more aware. But I was rowing the same boat of ignorance for probably older than some of you are here. But think about this one. When my kids get older, then I'll start that business, right? When I make more money, then I'll start that business. When I make more money, then I'll invest in that program. You know how many times I hear that one? That's like saying, I want the light bulb to be on, but I'm not going to turn the switch. We're asking for an effect before the cause, which is the definition of insanity. It's against physics. If you want the light to come on, you have to put out the cause, which is turning the switch, right? So you don't make more money before you learn. You got to invest and learn, then you make more money. All right, guys, if I get promoted at work, then I'll go on the vacation. These are conditional goals, right? When I have more time, then I'll start that business. How many of you heard that one? Type of one in the chat. If you were prospecting somebody, say, you know what, when I get more time, dude, I'm all in. You don't get more time. You don't get time at all. You have all that ever is and ever will be. We all have the same amount of time. All right, guys. So those are B-type goals. Those don't count. What we're here to teach you is a C-type goal. A C-type goal, guys, is what do you want? Not what do you think you can get. What do you want? All right, guys, really think about this. That's why I said you don't want Chairman 10. That's a nice stepping stone, but that's not really what you want. You want Chairman 100. You want freedom, man. 10 grand a month won't buy you freedom. It just buys you, some more responsibilities. It's on the way, right? It's on the way to 100,000 a month. And guys, I'm not belittling 10 grand a month. It's more than most people make. I'm just saying, I know that you guys aren't here to make 10 grand a month. I know that you're here to be part of the 1% and get yourselves up towards 50 or 100,000 a month. So a C-type goal is, what do you want, guys? 7 figures a month, right? That's a C-type goal. A penthouse at the Porsche Towers right there next to Alex. That's a C-type goal. Travel the world, right? Go on a 2-month vacation all over the globe for 100 grand with your family. That's a C-type goal because you don't know how to do that yet. Living in a perfectly healthy body could be a C-type goal for some of you guys because it involves a whole host of things. Does this make sense, guys? So from here on in, let's stop calling tasks goals. A C-type goal is for a human being to have something to grow towards that they don't know how to get. I want you to think about this, and I want you to forget about the how. If you have a goal to get to 6 figures a month, I want you to really listen here, guys. This is going to be a big breakthrough. If you have a goal to get to 6 or 7 figures a month, think about this. If you knew how, you would already be there. Let that one sink in. If you knew how to get to 6 figures a month, you'd already be there. So forget about the how. You don't need to know the how. Nobody ever knows the how. Steve Jobs did not know how he was going to create the iPhone. He just made a decision. I am going to create a flat supercomputer that you can hold in your hand. And the technology to build the damn phone didn't even exist. So if he can do that, then you can certainly set a decision and get to 100K a month. All right, guys, that makes sense. Type of 1 in the chat if this is resonating. I love to be able to turn the light switches on for people, and it only becomes a spaced repetition from here, guys. So Bob Proctor says, when a wealthy person reaches their goals, it's exactly what they expected, right? Precisely what they expected, because through visualization, they've already been there. How many of you every single day are actually putting yourself in the vibration through visualization for 100 grand a month? All right, guys, think about this. This is what we're working with here. So guys, as we said before, wealth is 95% mindset, 95% mindset, guys. I want you to think about this. It's only 5% physical. I always tell people, I can show you how to make $1 million a month weaving baskets. We have access to the globe. We have access to the world. We can sell all over the world. And we're going to teach you on Thursday when Bob shows up, we're going to teach you the science and the art, mastering the art of sales. All right, guys? So 95% mindset and 5% what you do. All right, guys, so I really want you to think about that as we move forward here. And some of you guys, I think a couple hundred of you already, you're in the Mindset Masters. So if this material is resonating with you, right, we do daily live coaching. I texted Luke earlier today. One of you guys texted one of my salespeople, said, oh my God, I've been in for 2 weeks, and he literally doubled his income. I can't make that up. I texted it to Luke, and that program is 67 cents a day. So as long as he was making more than 67 cents before we met, he's doing pretty good, all right? So we have daily live coaching. It's very much like we're doing here. We have the weekly live webinars, right? It's an hour deep dive. For anybody that's been on, type in the chat if you get some value. There's a couple of hundred of you guys in there, and we made some major breakthroughs already in there, right? You get free admission to all the events we do, guys. We do live seminars, we do webinars, we do paid things too. And anybody in the Mindset Masters has free admissions to all our events, all right, guys? And we're going to put a link in here. If you're not in the Mindset Masters, we're going to drop a link, and you get access to industry top coaches, right? We bring people in to the Mindset Masters. We interview them, we pick their brains, and then we show you exactly how they think and act and operate. All right, guys, so if you're not in the Mindset Masters and you'd like to be, you can click on this bit.ly link here. Maddie's going to drop the link. We'll just give that a second or two, and then I'm going to continue on with the webinar, taking a deep dive. So you can take a screenshot of this too, guys. It's bit.ly/LongMoneyLuke, my main man Luke, right? And that little link will get you access to the Mindset Masters, where you can join us. And this is a lifelong journey, right? I train with Bob. I train with Damon John. I'm going to be training with Grant Cardone. We take information that has cost me hundreds of thousands of dollars. I break it down for you. Madison and I both break it down, right? We're hitting you from two angles here, man and women. We're hitting you from old dude and young chick, right? And she is also a PGI coach. She's the youngest Proctor Gallagher certified coach in the world. And we come into the Mindset Masters every single day. We give you guys value, and we're really just created that program so that no one gets left behind. All right, guys. So Maddie just dropped that in the chat, and we're going to continue on here, and we're going to drop that at the end too. So I want you guys to imagine we've gotten into some material. We showed you guys what a goal is. A goal is energy, right? A goal is energy. It's an idea that you fall in love with. Most of what people are doing are called tasks. I'm going to get to the gym. That's not a goal. That's a task, right? Right? I'm going to get to 7 figures a month. Now that's a goal because you probably don't know how to do that yet. It's going to cause you to grow and stretch and think. So I want you guys to imagine, just imagine a year from now being in the Mindset Masters. What does that look like? Right? What does your life look like? You have to be able to visualize this. See, 100K a month gets you stuff like this, right? You could live here and have that boat on 100K a month, right? 100K a month does quite a bit of things. What does it look like for you guys? What does it feel like? I want you guys to imagine the vacations you go on. What does that look like, right? And what are you willing to do to get it? See, successful people do what unsuccessful people are not willing to do for a short period of time in order to live a life that most people never get to live. And just by being on this webinar, I can tell you guys are committed. You're in the 1%. All right, guys, so we'll drop that chat, but just think about all the things. I mean, 25K a month will get you everything I'm showing in this picture for the most part. You don't have to get to $1 million a month, but 25K is a stepping stone to $1 million a month, right? So guys, set your goals high. Now I'm going to get a little deeper here. What we're talking about is becoming a magnet. I want you to really listen to this part here, right? We just told you got to get a goal, 100,000 a month. You got to repeat it over and over and over. You got to become it. You got to live it. You got to breathe it. You need vision boards. You need life scripts. You need your friends to understand it. You need to speak it at the top of your lungs. You need to be proud of it, right? My goal is $21 billion in net worth and assets by age 60. I say that to everybody. And if you look at me like you're crazy, that's your problem, right? Mark Zuckerberg was a billionaire at age 23. Why the hell can't I do it by age 60? Think about that. It's not a big goal or a small goal. It just is. But you got to understand, we got to get in harmony with these laws of creation. These are not man-made laws, so man cannot change them. There's no shortcuts. All right, guys? So when you get a goal from the conscious to the subconscious, you set up a vibrational match. Your body takes action, right? Your tonalities increase. Your speech patterns change. You become a magnet for what you want. People start joining your business. They start following you around, right? You have to visualize this stuff. You become a vibrational match for that which you seek, right? Your penthouse, your boat, your mansion, your Rolls Royce, they're already here in the physical form. You're just not a vibrational match for them yet. You need to raise your vibration through exactly what we're talking about here and put this little guy here that we call a body into massive motion. Like, how bad do you want this stuff? Right, guys? Type a 1 in the chat if that's you. If you're going to those places, you're going to those things, you want to live that lifestyle, you're committed, you're willing to do what it takes, throw a 1 in the chat and let us know. Let us see what you're doing here. All right, guys? So here's another example. I want you to think about this, right? When you supersaturate your mind with the goal, what you're doing is becoming a magnet. Human beings, we are electromagnetic beings. You are a magnet, by the way. You might not know this, but you are a magnet. You have positive and negative charge in your body. And when you visualize something intensely, you're raising your vibration. Now, when you magnetize a piece of steel, that piece of steel, that new magnet will lift 12 times its own weight, right? When you magnetize a human, you get Warren Buffett. When you magnetize a human, you get Luke, right? When you magnetize a human, you get Bob Proctor. Bob Proctor has attracted the world. We are attracting the world to what we're teaching here. That's not by luck or opinion. That's by the universal law of magnetism. So guys, you got to get in harmony. You got to get on the vibration of that which you seek. And that's what we teach in the Mindset Masters. So take a look at this picture, guys. You are a magnet. That's not an opinion. Right now, you just might be in a low vibration. So you're attracting low vibrating things. like a low income, maybe a depressed, body, maybe a bad relationship, whatever it is, you're attracting everything always. All right, guys. So we become magnets for what we want. It's the law of magnetism. It's not the law of opinion. It's the universal law of magnetism, which responds to vibration. All right, guys. So let's take a look at it this way. This is what you do when you wake up every morning and you super saturate your mind, you get into a high vibration. You start to attract the people, places, things, and opportunities into your life to create exactly what you want. This is how things are created, right? We get an idea, we fall in love with the idea, we emotionalize the idea, we act on the idea. We do this every single day, and we don't do it for a period of time. We do it until we surrender to the process. We do these things until we have the results. All right, guys, and we take a deep dive. So Henry Ford said, whether you think you can or whether you think you cannot, you are correct, right? What Henry Ford knows is exactly the information we teach in the Mindset Masters. And you might notice that I said what Henry Ford knows. That's because he's not dead. His body's just gone. All right? This energy cannot be created or destroyed. It's just in a transmutation of energy. All right, guys? The information that Warren Buffett understands, the way he creates, this is exactly what we teach in the Mindset Masters. Think about that. If you'd like to learn to think and act and operate like Warren Buffett, then join us in the Mindset Masters. Even this guy here, he goes on stage saying that the law of attraction is bullshit. Well, what he's doing is he's advertising his ignorance. Now, he's very, very ignorant when it comes to the mind, but he's very, very aware when it comes to real estate, right? He's coming up on $1 billion in real estate. His results would say he knows a lot about real estate, but his speaking tells me he knows nothing about the mind at a deep level as far as teaching you guys how to rewire your operating system, because everything is by universal law. Everything has a cause and an effect. And when Grant was in his 40s, he had a paradigm shift. He started taking massive action, right? And that massive action set up a higher vibration to attract the deals, people, places, things that he now calls a real estate portfolio, right? So someday I'll be debating Uncle G on stage here. You guys will see that one. But anyway, the information we teach in the Mindset Masters is exactly how this man processes information. And guys, the information we teach in the Mindset Masters is exactly how Mr. Alex Morton earns over $1 million a month, right? He studies one-on-one with Bob. We're taking the information from my mentor and his mentor, and we're delivering it to you in the spaced daily repetition of content in the Mindset Masters. And this handsome gentleman here, this is exactly how he thinks and acts and operates. We're about to go through a quantum leap together because we're going to go from 100 grand a month, Mr. Luke, to 5 million a month. And I'm going to be proud to help you do that. All right, brother? So guys, very, very grateful to have you on this webinar. Again, we don't want to give you too much information at once. What I want to do is just give you enough information, and we're going to do this in a repetitive manner over the next 3 days so we don't just crush you with 3 hours of content. So guys, if you got some value out of that, type a 1 in the chat. This is my time here tonight. I want to bring Luke back on. We'll leave the link up here if you want to join the Mindset Masters. Guys, make sure you register. Make sure you register for this event. We'll put it here in the chats because we're going to give you the recordings. We're going to give you the stickman figures. We're going to give you the charts from the how the world's wealthiest people think and act and operate. We're going to give you all kinds of value over the next 6 months, whether you join us in the Mindset Masters or not. All right, guys, I don't need you to join the Mindset Masters. That's just a program that we created from our hearts to yours so that no one gets left behind. So, guys, that's my time here tonight. Luke, if you can jump on and wrap up, brother. I appreciate you having me on tonight. I am super, super pumped for tomorrow night because we're going to teach people how to make a paradigm shift.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you, Brian, for wow. I got all kinds of notes over here. I'm excited, hearing this information, over and over and over, it raises my vibration. We did a Instagram live, and instantly just hearing you speak, and the value you bring is second to none. So I just want to say thank you. Thank you so much for being on this call. Maddie as well, for behind the scenes, and everybody on this call, guys. This information really changed the game. I'm sure you guys see my experience, or, journey, from about 6 months ago to, Gold Cup and, the success and everything. And it all comes back down to the information of attracting, raising your vibration and frequency. So you guys have that power, right? You have that decision. to really, go all out and really take your goals by the horn, right? So tomorrow, same time, right? 9 p.m. Eastern, right? 9 p.m. Eastern, we're going to go in a deeper dive, on a different category. And then Thursday, same time, 9 p.m. Eastern, you're going to hear from Bob Proctor. He's going to make a special guest. So I'm super pumped up. Make sure you register. That way you get the information, you get the recording, you get the free content, that Brian was mentioning. If you do obviously want to enroll, the link is there. So I'm super excited to help you guys with your success. Brian, thank you one more time. And we'll see you guys tomorrow. We'll leave out the page for you guys as well. And then we'll see you all tomorrow. Have a good day, good morning, good night, depending on where you're from. And we'll see you then. Peace. Thank you.